Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire allotment adventures with the birds singing, the skies were covered in cloud. Oh, my kettle's whistling, which means cup of tea time. So sit back, relax, get yourself a cuppa and enjoy today's show. Well, I was going to move and sit on my bench, but well, I've made my cuppa, so cheers, absolutely fantastic. I've been out again. I had to go to a garden centre again, but it's a DIY store for something else. Just happened to go outside and they got 50% off some plants, and then they got another sale of 20% off. I didn't know this applied to the sale plants as well. So I saw some strawberries and they were £6 originally down to £3. So that made it 50p a plant, which I didn't think was bad actually. But then at the checkout, they gave me 20% off. So that meant 70% off the price. So these have worked out about 40 pence a plant. And that's not bad, is it? I'm not sure they'll produce strawberries this year, although having said that, they are producing flowers. So I'm going to pop them into the ground, lots of new compost around them, fertilise them, and you never know, they might come with strawberries this year. It's very unusual to do, you know, we plant them and leave them a year, but these do look like some are in bud, some aren't, but that's fine, so long as we get something off them. And I look forward to having these lovely strawberries. They're called El Santana, never heard of them before. Hardy down to -20 it says on the label, and we can plant November to March. Well, we're just at the end of April, but does that matter really? I don't think so. And they should produce fruit, it said. It should produce fruit June to July. I think we're probably looking here July to August maybe now, going in late, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. It's a funny time of year at the moment because the weather is not hot enough for a lot of the tender seedlings to go out yet. I'm going to delay putting some out a couple of weeks because we're still getting frost in the morning. We're getting lots of rain. It's been bitterly cold overnight. In fact, I left some cucumber plants out overnight the night. I didn't mean to. I've come down this morning and well, they look very sorry for themselves, so they've gone back into the greenhouse. They will be covered to try and encourage them once again to regrow. And well, fingers crossed they are not lost. Something that was lost, and it's unfortunate, my squash plant that was big and healthy and mega strong has been eaten, and that's gone unfortunately. In fact, I've lost two. I'll dig one up, but fingers crossed, you never know, that might come back. It's in the greenhouse. The main stem is still upright, so maybe it is getting nutrients and it might grow new leaves, but that's weeks, months ahead possibly. Luckily, I have a couple in reserve, and so we're going to keep a close eye on them. They're not going out yet. They'll be transplanted to bigger and bigger. Maybe give it the end of May, possibly, before they go out. And when they do go out, I'll make sure they've got a ring of protection around them. So I'll get those coffee grounds down, which is what I didn't do around the squash plant. I didn't think it was necessary, but we do know it is now. It's lovely here today, actually. As I said earlier, it's very, very warm. I think it's like 17, 18 degrees. It is cloudy. There's no wind. The birds are out. And sometimes, you know, there's lots and lots to do. But it is nice just to sit and do nothing. Thank you for some of the lovely comments as well I'm getting. And it's been really nice to hear about that you enjoy all the work that's happening here on the bank. And lots of you I know are saying that you're looking forward to seeing the flowers in a few months' time. I'm the same. I can't wait. I'm hoping to see a really good selection of wildflowers growing. What's interesting, I bought a block at a wildlife reserve, and it was just a block of koi compost, and it had a little piece of paper across the top. What you have to do is put it into water, it soaks up and the plants grow. Well, it's been undercover, and I thought, well, I'll have a look. And it cost a fortune, this, by the way. Even that was in the sale, but it still cost a lot of money. But I thought, you know what, it's for a society purpose, but you know, a really good wildlife society. It's helping them. And well, there's 6 seeds in it, and They're in little holes, and they are coming, but it's not going to be a wildlife bank like it's advertised on the picture. It's well, I think I've learnt my lesson there, but fingers crossed. Some of them will come up anyway in the next few weeks, because it says what you have to do once they grow. You have to put them in the soil. Well, I don't know how I'm going to do that. There's only 6 plants anyway. I'll stop whinging on. And the good news is, do you remember I said I got being given a white bluebell? Well, I put it in the ground and I wasn't very hopeful for it, but it looks like it's taken. And there was another one that had been chopped off. It was just on the stem. That's been in water. That's doing really well. So I'm going to have to make sure that we get that one that's in the water out here at some point so it can seed. Because they self-seed, which means it'll just grow where I put them. So fingers crossed. I love a good bluebell. Really, really fantastic things. And they are gorgeous. And mine are in full bloom. In fact, shall we? Are we ready? Here's a photograph. Aren't they gorgeous? Beautiful colours. And as I say, we're very lucky near where I live. We've got a wood and it's peppered, littered with beautiful bluebells. And they don't mind the shade. And get the sun on them and they change the colour from blues to purples. Absolutely gorgeous things. Very, very lucky to have bluebells in my life. Cheers. Yes, I know, another cup of tea, but well, that's the beauty of having a kettle on the allotment, isn't it fantastic? Well, I'm having a rest because I've just been digging out my trench for my third lot of potatoes, and I've just noticed the first ones I put in, the purple ones or blue ones, they're now starting to come through the ground. We've had a few days of sun, not many, it's not been drastically brilliant, April, but we're heading into May now, and that's the time to start making sure the ground is prepared for everything else that's going in. I'm doing an experiment. There's an old tale about potatoes, things you can put in the ground before you put potatoes in. So I've lined the third trench with leaf mould, and I'm using some coffee grounds as well in the trench with the potatoes. That's supposed to encourage them. Now I'm putting my main crop in. These will be ready around October, November time. And these are called Cara, and these are beautiful. And they can boil, bake, mash, chip and roast. So these are an all-rounder. They can do absolutely anything. And what's lovely on the back is here, I've got a little lovely picture. It tells you when, how to sow them, how deep and how far apart. So that's really useful for people who possibly have never grown potatoes before. Now I've just had these in the bag. I've not had them out, but they are beautifully chitting. So it's really nice. Now I often get asked, do you have to plant it as a whole? Can you separate it? Well, here, this one is chitting on both ends. So if you wanted, you can actually cut them in half and plant those. So you get 2 potato plants out of 1 potato. I'm not going to do that because, well, I think I've got enough potatoes growing this year. But you can do that. You can, and don't forget as well, you can grow these in buckets, you can grow them in tubs, you can grow them in specialist potato bags with the flaps at the bottom. I've never worked out why you need flaps at the bottom of a potato bag. I tried it once, and you open those and everything falls out. Why don't you just tip it out in the first place? I've never been able to get them individually off. Some people can just say, oh, let's just put them in a bag and we'll take the bottom out and let's get potato. I've never done that. Can't do it, faffing about, let's not bother. So these are going to ground. Now interestingly, when I've been digging over, I moved all the coverings, and in the cracks of the coverings, I had some friends, yes, some slugs. So they've gone to help the other wildlife in the allotment, and well, there are plenty of beneficial creatures, lots and lots of worms. Now, my little robin friend popped up. He saw me digging, or she saw me digging away, and soon appeared, and they've got their eye on their worms. Also, I've noticed I've got a red ant's nest, but that's been around. They move around the allotment. Every time I dig somewhere, they shift themselves somewhere else. They don't like to be disturbed. I've had them in the greenhouse, I've had them over there, I've had them over there. Every time I dig, they move somewhere else. That's fine by me, because they will help later on take away some of the aphids and all those things. We do have to be careful though, because sometimes the ants themselves will eat the plants. So I'll keep an eye out for that. But yes, I'm back to putting my tubers into the ground. Brilliant stuff. Also, what I've been doing as well is I've been repairing all of my covers, like this one here. Here we go. This is just an old clothes rail and it's two sides. I made it into a triangle when it's on the floor, and that's going to really help, because I will need at some point to cover the strawberries. Once the flowers start to come and the little strawberries start to develop, they need covering, because the birds around here will be in like a shot and I won't have any strawberries left, so they need to be covered. We've still got frosts, we've still got very cold mornings and very cold evenings here on some days, so I've also put my other tunnel up, and that will go over some of the crops that are going out in the next couple of weeks into the ground, to make sure that they have a stable environment of which to develop into, because we don't want to put crops out and then they get killed off because it's too cold. So I'll have to get some new fleeces, maybe some new tunnels, small ones for them, because we're going to be planting rather a lot in the next few weeks. Things are definitely blooming. And guess what? My butternut squash has decided that it's become, well, a beanstalk, a giant beanstalk. They are shooting up, which is really exciting. They weren't doing anything at first. They've been in a little plastic container that held, well, buns, and they're coming up beautifully. I can't believe it. In fact, shall we? Here's a photograph. Brilliant, aren't they? Can't wait to see them in. And, well, once again, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. I'm pausing because, well, the birds are singing and it's so lovely. The wind is getting up now, but it's such a lovely warm day. As I say, once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much indeed for all your comments that are coming in. And I look forward to seeing you here next time on Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. And May is the time when we start to do 2 shows a week. I know we've had a few, but they've been intermittent. But from May onwards, yes, you'll be getting 2 shows a week. Ta-ra for now. Cheers.